Hello everyone, I am Shiva. In this video, I am going to talk about the procedure for applying education loan across various Indian banks in general. The topics which I am going to cover in this slide are the objective of the education loan, the purpose, then the eligibility criteria to be met, what are the various expenses covered under the loan, and the quantum of finance that is distributed by the banks, and the margin that has to be paid by the students, and the security that has to be provided, and the rate of interest provided by the various banks, and then the sanction or the disbursement of the loan to the student, the repayment schedule, and finally the various miscellaneous items. Now, coming to the objective of the education loan, we all know that the education is key to human resources development and empowerment of our country, or any country for that matter. And recently, cost of education has been going up in recent times, and since the student has to pay most of the cost, there is a clear sense or clear case for institutional funding in this area. And the main emphasis of this education loan is that a meritorious student, though poor, is provided with an opportunity to pursue education with the financial support from the banking system with very affordable terms and conditions. Now, the purpose of education loan is basically to pursue higher education at their desired college or universities. Now, currently, the education loans are provided for the students who wants to pursue their higher education in overseas or in Indian institutions, such as like my MS in foreign countries, or engineering, or MBBS, or any degree in India. Now, what are the eligibility criteria to avail the education loan? The first and foremost thing is the student should be of an Indian national, and the student have secured an admission to a higher education course in the recognized institutions either in India or abroad through an entrance exam such as 10+2 or its equivalent. Education loan is availed for the students who wants to pursue either undergraduate courses in Indian institutions or abroad, or also for the PG courses. And basically the education loan can be classified into three categories, such as the admissions into top rated institutions, which is very easy to avail, and for the admissions to seek into other domestications, and finally the students who wants to seek studies in abroad. Now, coming to the expenses covered under education loan are the tuition and hostel fees, which is the basic fees required for the student to finish his course, and the examination fees during his course period, and purchase of various books or equipments that has to be made, and the travel and insurance expenses that are incurred while traveling from his home place to the college, and also any other expenses required to be completed in the course period, such as project work or thesis, etc. Now, the scholarship fees or the fee waivers, etc., whatever will be availed by the student, are generally exempted from the expenses that are covered under the loan requirement, since they will be coming under the margin that can be paid by the student. Now, coming to the quantum of finance that is disbursed to the under education loan, for the studies in India, maximum 10 lakhs can be availed to the student, and for the abroad students, and for the studying in abroad colleges, up to 20 lakhs can be availed. However, banks may consider higher quantum of loan on course-to-course basis, and also it may be noted that for loans in excess of 10 lakhs, they qualify for interest subsidy under central sector interest subsidy schemes, although it may exceed the priority sector norms fixed by the RBI. Now, coming to the margin. Margin is basically the total amount contributed by the student themselves for the education, and the total education expenditure is usually the margin that is paid by the student and the additional educational loan that is disbursed by the banks. Now, coming to the margin amount, if the education loan availed is up to 4 lakhs, then there is no need to pay any margin. It is basically nil. And for the amount which is 4 lakhs and above, if the student is studying in India, then 5% margin has to be paid, and for the abroad students up to 15%. However, up to 7.5 lakhs loan is eligible for the credit guarantee coverage. Also, the scholarship or assistantship availed by the students is included in the margin. And coming to the security that is to be deposited in the banks. Now, up to the 4 lakhs of amount, there is no need of security to be provided. But however, the parents have to be the joint borrowers for the loan. Now, for the loan amount from 4 to 7.5 lakh, besides the parents executing the documents as joint borrowers, collateral security in the form of suitable third party guarantee will be taken. However, this third party guarantee will be waived off if the loan is eligible for credit guarantee coverage. Now, for the loan amount above 7.5 lakhs, parents has to be the joint borrowers obviously, and apart from that, a tangible collateral security of suitable value acceptable to the bank along with the assignment of future income of the student for the payment of installments will also be considered. Now, the rate of interest that is charged by various banks. At the present, the simple interest is charged during the study period and up to the commencement of the repayment. Now, simple interest may be charged even during any subsequent moratorium that is considered. Currently, the rate of interest varies from 9 to 11.5% across various Indian banks, and also it is based on the loan amount availed. Now, the procedure for appraisal or the disbursement of the loan. Applications are to be submitted directly either to the bank branches or through online mode, that is Vijaya Lakshmi portal, which we will discuss in the next session. In the normal course, while appraising the loan, the future prospect of the student only will be looked into. So, in spite of providing the tangible collateral security, the banks consider the prospect of the student's future. Now, students may submit their loan applications either at the bank branches to the near to the residence of their parents or in their educational institution. Now, the loan to be disbursed in stages as per the requirement or demand to the institutions or vendors of the equipment or instruments to the extent possible. Now, the repayment period. Now, the EMI or repayment period commences after the completion of the holiday period, and usually the holiday period is the course period, which can be either 1 year or 2 years, and additional 1 year if the student has not secured any job. And if the student has secured job, the holiday period is only 6 months plus the course period. Now, the banks may consider 1% interest concession to the student if the interest is serviced during the study period. Now, some of the miscellaneous points that I have missed up. Now, the insurance part. Now, banks may make it mandatory to arrange for life insurance policy on the students while availing the education loan. The follow-up by the banks. Now, banks will also follow up the institutions about the progress of the students at regular intervals of his course. Charges. There are no processing or upfront charges that are levied on its loan sanction under the IBA model education scheme. However, the banks may charge processing fee for the students who wants to study abroad specifically. Now, the student applicant may be required to pay fees or charges additionally if they avail loan under the third party service providers. Thank you.